from the NewsChannel 5 network, this is SportsLine.
Good evening, Nashville. Welcome to SportsLine right here on NewsChannel 5+. John Burton, happy to be with you. You can always correspond with me via Twitter at JohnBurton32 or at NC5_John Burton. We've got a lot to get to tonight. SEC Media Days continue in just a few moments. We're going to hear what Alabama head coach Nick Saban had to say. Also, next segment, we'll be joined by Turron Davenport from ESPN, who covers the Tennessee Titans. Titans camp just 8 days away from getting started, folks, as the football season starts to creep in. We'll get an update on what's going on with the two-tone blue. Also, bottom of the hour, Virgil Herring, our PGA teaching professional, and of course he's the director of golf at the Ensworth School. He will give us a preview of the Open Championship, which gets underway in just a matter of hours across the pond, and we'll get Virgil's thoughts as to who might take home the hardware on Sunday as we look forward to what is now the final major of the golf season. Of course, usually that was the third major of the golf season, but of course the PGA Championship was moved up this year to the month of May. And so we've already had the U.S. Open, the Masters, the PGA Championship, and now the Open Championship, which gets underway bright and early tomorrow morning and runs through Sunday. And then after Sunday, we'll still have a lot of summer left, but no more golf majors. So we'll get Virgil's thoughts on that as well. Your phone calls as well as we get ready for football season. SEC Media Days going on right now in Hoover, Alabama. Of course, Tennessee spoke yesterday. Head coach Jeremy Pruitt and his selected players. Tomorrow, Derek Mason and his selected players will speak at SEC Media Days. So we look forward to hearing what Coach Mace and the Commodores have to say about the upcoming season and what should be a very interesting year for them. But of course, as I said, to open my 6 o'clock sportscast over on NewsChannel 5 a little while ago, this guy that we're about to hear from is the unofficial keynote speaker every year at SEC Media Days. All eyes, as usual, on Alabama head coach Nick Saban as he took the podium today. Of course, the Crimson Tide coming off getting whitewashed in the College Football Playoff Championship game to Clemson 44-16 back in January. And so certainly a lot of motivation for Coach Saban and his Crimson Tide heading into 2019. Here now, Nick Saban.
Hey, Coach Saban. Jamie Hale from ABC 3340 here in Birmingham. You're the leader of this program, so we've got to know, how's your hip? Are you 100% right now?
I don't want to admit to being 100%. Then that would affect how many shots I get over the next 3 or 4 days, which is the end of golf season. I actually have to produce a doctor's excuse not to hit out of a sand trap, the guys that I play against, and I've really been trying to make a good game on the first tee, so I don't want to say that I'm really 100%, but I really am.
Front row, Coach.
Hey, Nick. David Cloninger with the Charleston Post and Courier. You get South Carolina back on the schedule for the first time in 9 years this season. What do you remember from that 2010 game? Is there one player moment that stands out above the rest?
Well, I remember a lot. We got the lineman kicked out of our britches, in the game over there, and we'd won, I think, 19 games in a row going into that game, and they really took advantage of and played a great game against us and took advantage of a lot of situations and exposed us in a lot of different ways. And we have a lot of respect for Will and what he's done at South Carolina, the team they have, and that's always a challenging place to play, and that's going to be a difficult game for us, and our players need to be ready to go.
Coach, to your left on the second row.
Clint Schweitzer, Great American Sports Network in Kansas City. Coach, you're in your 13th year here at Alabama, 18th in the SEC. The slogan for this league is "It just means more." You've been around a long time in this league. What does it mean to you?
The slogan is "It just means more," or I didn't get that. What is this?
Being in this league for 18 years, slogan is "It just means more." What does this mean to you, coaching in this league?
Well, I'm just glad to be here. This is a great league. The competition, the competitive venues, the fan interest, the passion that so many people have in so many programs. I've coached in several different leagues, including the NFL, the Big Ten, and I just think the interest and the passion here makes it special to be a part of this. And then we have a lot of good football players, a lot of good football coaches, a lot of good programs in this league that make it very, very challenging each and every year. And I'm just happy to be a part of it. And it's been a wonderful experience, and hopefully the players that have been a part of our program have a better chance to be successful in life because of it, and their experience as competitors are going to help them, have a better chance to be successful.
Coach, to your right on the second row.
Hey, Coach. Rachel Barbeau, Sirius XM. How you doing this morning?
Doing good.
I'm right here. 2 questions for you. The first one is, having covered you for many years, I know that you are very motivated by a loss and a win. I'm curious, after the national championship game, did you change any of your process, anything that you do, anything with practice, any way that you coach? Because you've been known to burn the midnight oil in your career and being willing to pivot when you see something that needs to be changed.
Well, I think that we're constantly evolving as a program. We're constantly making little changes and things to, try to help us get better, whether it's overall program, offense, defense, special teams, any part of the program, personal development, academic support, whatever it is. We're always looking for a better way. But I think that we didn't do the things that we feel are very important to the program very well toward the end of the season last year. Now, I don't think we played with the kind of discipline that we want to play with as an organization and as a team. I don't think we didn't have a culture of accountability, with our team at the end of the season. I think putting the team first is always really, really important, and these are the kind of things that I think we need to improve on if we're going to be able to improve as a team and continue to develop and have success. And I think, you have to be able to live with success. You have to understand that success is not a continuum, it's momentary, and if you don't continue to do the same things that you've always done, you're not going to be successful. And I think sometimes players get complacent, take for granted that just because we played well in the past, we're going to continue to play well in the future, and then you create bad habits and the way you prepare, and then you get exposed by somebody that you played that is really, really good. So I don't think it was what we were doing so much as how were we doing it? How did we execute? What did we do? And that's something that we need to improve on, but we're also constantly trying to evolve as an organization.
Coach, last question. Jimbo Fisher earlier this week talked about the biggest thing he took from you was your awareness in terms of mental health of your players. That's huge, Coach. And I heard you earlier this year talk to high school coaches and talk about that, about caring about your players, about really looking at them and seeing how you can serve them. Is that part of your legacy, how you want to be remembered in the SEC and in coaching?
Well, I think, what I'd like to, I've been around been in 2 programs where they had icon coaches, Woody Hayes at Ohio State and Coach Bryan at Alabama. And the one thing that makes those guys what they were and what they are is the number of players that have come up to me through the years in both those programs and tell me how much their coach impacted their life in terms of the lessons that they learned as competitors or the values that were instilled in them while they were in the program, the relationships that were developed. So that's really the number one thing that I'd like to be my legacy someday, is that there's a whole bunch of players out there that feel like something that we did helped them have a better chance to be successful in life. On the mental health issue side of it, I've always been one of these people who are really, really interested in human behavior and the psychological disposition it takes to be a good competitor. So we've always had people involved in the mental health of our players for the last 25 years, all the years that I've been a head coach. And these people are experts in human behavior. They've helped players, and they've helped us to be able to help players by understanding issues and problems, how we should coach those guys, how they need to be supported so they have a better chance to be successful. I think this.
All right. Head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, Nick Saban. Some interesting questions lobbed his way at SEC Media Days today. Again, Vanderbilt goes tomorrow. Head coach Derek Mason, along with selected players, including his running back Keyshawn Vaughn, who today was named to the Doak Walker watch list. Of course, the Doak Walker Award goes to the nation's best running back. So certainly Keyshawn Vaughn in some very good company heading into the season. So we look forward to hear what Coach Mason and the Vanderbilt Commodores have to say tomorrow. Of course, as we said, Tennessee speaking yesterday in Hoover at SEC Media Days. Head coach Jeremy Pruitt and his selected players. And of course, today, Alabama Day. When Nick Saban speaks, it's always a big deal. So love to hear from the Crimson Tide fans tonight. How you feeling about your team? Was last January what happened against Clemson a fluke? Do you think they get right back on the national championship hunt this year? You're free to call it 737-7767. But when we come back, we are going to switch gears and talk about the Tennessee Titans as we sit just 8 days away from the start of the Titans training camp at St. Thomas Sports Park. ESPN NFL Titans reporter Turron Davenport will join us next right here on SportsLine on News Channel 5 Plus. Stay with us. You don't want to miss that.